Darth Vader's suit. It is iconic. I mean, the hindrances and pains of the suit ensured Vader's survival against his most dangerous foe, Anakin Skywalker. Yes, today we're tackling why didn't Darth Vader ever try to upgrade his suit? Because I feel like Palpatine, had Anakin not lost to Obi-Wan, would be content with Vader trying to overthrow him as a way of testing his strength and loyalty to the Sith tradition. So some feel like if Vader had won, Palpatine would eventually transfer his Force essence into a younger body and analyze his faults in the battle, improve, and eventually attempt to overthrow Vader entirely. While the old suit added to the pain and suffering of Vader, I mean, he dealt with it on a daily basis, it should be noted that the cause of Vader's suffering and pain was his failure to save both his mother and his wife. Those are emotions that will stay with Vader for his entire life and should be more than sufficient to fuel his anger and dark side powers. But of course, Vader wants to be all-powerful, so in a sense, keeping the old suit would make him much stronger in the dark side of the Force than a new and improved suit. This is the angle I want to go with in this video, because one thing you have to understand is that Palpatine in Legends built Vader's suit specifically faulty so that Vader would never have a rest. Vader would never relinquish the dark side. He would always be angry, not only for losing both Padme and Shmi, but also because his existence is now miserable. I believe that if Vader got a new suit, not only would he be more powerful than his regular suit, but I believe that he still would have held back against Luke in Return of the Jedi. What's crazy to think about him upgrading his suit is that in Return of the Jedi, Anakin might have still survived his ordeal with the Emperor because of his new suit, because the lightning shock would not have shut down his systems entirely, and his upgraded suit might have helped as well. I would have loved to see this in a what if series for Star Wars. They are making them now, so this would have been a great alternative to see. And in the old Star Wars Tales comic series, there is a White Vader alternative, so that would have been lovely. But let's keep the video going. I feel like Vader kept the old suit as a way to punish himself more. Maybe it also helped to insulate him from the world a bit, because with an upgraded suit, things might have turned out differently for him. He viewed himself as a monster, and the suit kind of helped him embody that role and lent to that presence. Just hearing his clomping footsteps would instill fear among the Imperials and Stormtroopers. But just think about this new suit. Also, I've seen fans speculate about the new suit as well, about an upgraded suit. No doubt Vader would have been an absolute terror to anybody with a new suit, to anybody who went up against him. This suit would have made him physically stronger, gave him more mobility, and he would have been resistant to electricity. This is the main issue and the main problem we come across, is that the old suit was specifically designed to not be insulated from electricity, and this was done intentionally, of course, by Palpatine, by Sidious, who wanted to keep his apprentice in check. Remember me saying in the beginning that Palpatine was not adherent to the old Sith traditions. He cheated at this point. With a new suit, Vader would destroy Sidious. I think that he would focus on his losses and how no matter what he did, he will never be the Anakin he once was. His physical pain wasn't even half of what pushed him so far into the dark side of the Force. In some of the novelization in the 80s, I remember reading something along the lines of, after so many years, Vader and the suit were one and the same, where metal and flesh were fused as blood, vein, and circuits. The only parts you could separate were the cape and the minor parts. Anything else could compromise and rapidly decay his zombie-like body. In the end, that armor was his link to this realm and the source of his pain, but a reminder that he was still alive. So Darth Vader's attire, of course, ranks amongst the most fascinating and symbolically potent designs in the entire Star Wars saga. It is towering, it is intimidating, and imbued with an aura of authority that perfectly matches the Sith Lord's stature. However, it also had its limitations. Of course, a prevalent question that often arises arises is hence the point of this video. Why didn't Vader upgrade his suit? As one of the Empire's top-ranking officials, he certainly had the resources. And I think now it's the perfect time to actually find an answer. Let's provide a brief summary, shall we? It wasn't the loss of his limbs that truly incapacitated him, although it indeed impeded him and initially hampered his Force usage. The real nightmare of Vader's existence started with his burns on Mustafar. Anakin endured 4th-degree burns across almost his entire body. These burns penetrated beyond his skin, reaching his muscles, bones, and in some instances even organs. As we see, Vader has trouble breathing. His suit functioned as a portable life support system, but also served as a form of torment, deliberately designed by Palpatine as retribution for his defeat at the hands of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So Palpatine never anticipated that Vader could lose to Obi-Wan. In Sidious's view, Obi-Wan was unremarkable, he wasn't that special, and he wasn't the skilled swordsman in the Jedi Order, let alone being the all-powerful one in the Force. Nothing about Obi-Wan screamed that he could have a chance against the Chosen One. At most, Sidious regarded Obi-Wan as a mere emotional hurdle for Anakin at that time. He even says this to Yoda in Revenge of the Sith. It's somewhat surprising that Palpatine would utter such a statement since he is primarily concerned with his own survival. So as a Sith, he is on his 3rd apprentice. Maul had subsided, Dooku was dead, and with Anakin following Maul and Dooku. In the Sith Handbook, Palpatine professes his belief that the rule of 2 ends with him. He explicitly declares his disinterest in finding a successor and aims to reign eternally, relegating Vader to just a subordinate. And if you go back and look at it, this is how he also treated his 2 other apprentices, and at no point do we get a real admittance that Palpatine would ever expect these 3 to defeat him. Darth Vader's suit barely kept him alive. This is evident in the material, providing the bare essentials for motor functions and survival, but nothing really more. The only reason why Vader was so powerful was because of his anger. Otherwise, his suit was really defective at many points. So why didn't he upgrade? Well, the answer is multifaceted kinda. A more sophisticated suit would significantly improve systems and movements, controls, but this new suit would have offered him nearly the same mobility as his old self Anakin and would have had superior auditory systems. But the first problem would have been that this new suit, even though it would have been ready and waiting for him, the process of transferring him to this new suit might have proven fatal. This is one of the reasons. The myriad of wires and systems keeping Vader alive posed a high risk of death during this procedure. Disconnecting him from the life support systems even momentarily could be proven to be disastrous. The surgical team would have had to rewire his respiratory system, his heart rate regulator, which could have proven lethal to Vader because of the time it would take. Even if Palpatine was willing to help, which I sincerely doubt, using the dark side to sustain Vader during this procedure, it would have been unlikely that it would have enhanced Vader's survival, a risk Palpatine was not willing to take. Another intriguing reason revolves around how the dark side actually functions. It feeds off pain, anger, and suffering, all of which Vader had in abundance. His very body was designed to suffer, and this continuous torment, frustration, and even sleep deprivation amplified his connection to the dark side, making him a truly unrelenting Sith Lord. Don't get me wrong, over time, Vader did make some minor modifications to his suit, and he enhanced its practicality. Even in the comics, we constantly see that Vader's helmet keeps getting destroyed, his cybernetics at times in duels suffer, but he keeps his suit in check. This again brings us to Return of the Jedi, because whatever you want to say about Darth Vader, it kind of seems that his suit was a hindrance against the duel with his son. If Vader would have had a more enhanced suit, a modified suit, a better suit, then I think in Return of the Jedi, Luke would have stood no chance, even for a brief moment when he was fueled by the dark side. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Should Vader have upgraded his suit? Talk to me down below.